Hello guys, it's me Matto, and today I want to talk about WUWA 2.1 and what changes they are bringing and why it's kind of exciting. Now before I begin, I would love if you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content, and let's get right into it. So I wanted to make a video about this earlier, but I just couldn't really get to it, and now that they've released a post explaining the new combat mechanics, I feel like now would be a good time to talk about the 2.1 update. So what are we getting in 2.1? Well, we're getting some new combat mechanics, which is very exciting. I was not expecting them to add any combat mechanics, at least not this early, but it seems like we are getting some, which is very great because some people have been asking for more intricacies in the combat system overall, and now we're getting it, so that's pretty good. We're getting a new mechanic which is called negative status, and what this new mechanic does is that certain attribute attacks can inflict negative status on the target, which grants various buffs and adds depth to the combat. And not only buffs, they also mention debuffs as well, so yeah, let's get right into it. During battle, certain attribute attacks inflict negative status on the target. Negative status comes in 6 types, each carrying different effects, and I will not be going over every single one. I'll just tell you a short summary, and yeah. So we've already had this effect in 2.0 with the rover. Haven't had much of a chance to use it yet, but pretty sure it's great. So what we will be getting is a bunch of these effects pretty much on every single element that we have. With Phoebe releasing, she will be prioritizing this new effect, which means that her best teammate probably will be the rover, as he has an ability to increase the spectral frazzle damage. Anyways, how spectral frazzle works is that it inflicts stacks of the effect, and these stacks will deal spectral damage to a target at regular intervals during its duration, which will reduce 1 stack for every interval. The damage by this effect depends on the resonator's level, enemy's defense and damage resistance, and the number of these stacks. So yeah, that's pretty good. It gives us a reason to fully level up our characters to increase these new effects, which is pretty great. I guess you could say it's like a dot in HSR. It ticks over the time duration of it. Also, some resonators will receive extra bonuses when battling foes with the negative status. What this does for Phoebe, which is our first character that really takes advantage of this, is that he gains increased combat strength against enemies with the spectral frazzle effect. Her heavy attack benefits from an enhanced damage multiplier when she is going against the enemies with the negative status. And the negative status effects can also be enhanced by certain weapons, echo skills, whatever. They have also given us a look at the other negative effects, and there is quite a bit. There is one for every single element. Let's get through them, okay? So the arrow erosion is stackable. It inflicts arrow damage on the target at a regular interval, pretty much the same as spectral frazzle, I believe. Havoc Bane stacks automatically while it remains active. Once it reaches the maximum stacks, it deals havoc damage to the target and removes the Havoc Bane, and it applies to other enemies that are nearby. I believe this one means that it's going to be basically a bomb, and once you stack up all the stacks, it will explode, dealing big damage. Then it'll apply to the other nearby enemies, I believe. That's how it seems anyways. Fusion burst. Certain fusion attacks will be able to inflict it. It's stackable. Once it has max stacks, it will ignite and remove those stacks. I believe this is just going to be a little bit of a burn effect from what I can see. Glacio Chaffee, also stackable. As these stacks increase, the target speed will slow down. Once we have max stacks, the target is frozen and the stacks are removed. I'm pretty sure we already have something like this. I believe, I do think you can freeze enemies. I mean, at least I believe I've done it with some echoes, but whatever, we'll see. It's interesting. Electro Flare. This one I feel like is the weakest, maybe along with the Glacio Chaffee, because they don't really do all that much. But yeah, this one just weakens the target's attack. It could be useful for some hologram battles, as you could reduce the damage of the enemies and then maybe make it easier for yourself. Same with the Glacial one, I guess you could say. But yeah, these are pretty exciting to see. This will definitely add a lot more to the combat. Not like there was a need for more anyways, but it's always good to have some more intricacies to the combat. It isn't exactly the elemental system from Genshin, but it is something, okay? Anyways, might as well talk about what we'll be getting in 2.1 as well. Obviously, we'll be getting Phoebe, which takes full advantage of the new Spectro-Frazzle effect. We'll also have Brand. We'll be getting new weapons for both of them. We will be getting a new free Rectifier, and the Rectifier has an attack substat, and its passive is that when you deal damage to enemies with Spectro-Frazzle, it will increase the wielder's Spectro damage by 6%, gaining 1 stack per second for 6 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So that's a pretty fine weapon, I believe. Might be a good free-to-play weapon for Phoebe. We'll also be getting 2 new areas, which is the Ricoli Islands, which look pretty great. I'm very excited for those. And the Averado Vault Underground. Looks pretty good as well. We'll also be getting a new endgame mode, which is Whimpering Wastes. That's a horrible name, but we'll see how good it is. And we'll be getting a new weekly combat gameplay called The Fantasies of the Thousand Gateways. It's also permanent, so yeah, looks fun. Looks great. And also the Tower of Adversity will now reset monthly instead of bi-weekly, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but then again it's going to be swapping out with Whimpering Wastes and the other modes, so yeah. We'll also be getting some QOL. One of those is the Echo Recommendation System. The game will get data from the players and tell you which sets and which echoes you should equip on the character. It'll automatically equip them for you, I believe. It's very useful for new players, definitely. We'll also be getting echo loadouts. Genshin can never. That's all that I'll say about that. It's great. It hasn't even been a year since the game has released and we're already getting echo loadouts. Very excited. We'll also be getting increased echo backpack capacity. That is definitely helpful. I believe I've hit the max amount of echoes twice now. And yeah, this is going to be helpful. We're getting also some camera feature upgrades, filters, intensity features, poses, whatever. Don't really care about that one. We're getting full ray tracing, which I feel like most of the players will not even be able to use because, well, ray tracing is very hard to run on any computer. There's also going to be a Mac release for WUWA on the March of 27th. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in the video. I wanted to talk about the effects, I wanted to talk about when we are going to be getting in 2.1. I will definitely be making a review of 2.1 once it comes out and I do most of the content. I also really want to say sorry for not uploading the past 5 days, I believe. I really was just kind of out of ideas of what to make. But yeah, I'm back now. Hopefully back to making a video every 2 or 3 days. If you like the video, so be sure to subscribe, like, do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.